The noise.
The power. Definitely.
The feeling up the back of your spine.
It does move you. It's psychedelic in a sense, you know. It does change you. I think it changes your inner rhythms, definitely, and it stays with you for a long time. It's good stuff.
It rings in your ears for a while, that's for sure. it just kind of happened. It just kind of happened, and we just needed some noise. I mean, you know, I hear that in '92 they're going to make noise illegal here in the EEC. Quaint old Europe is telling us for our own benefit that any noise more than about 100 decibels, whether it's a car, a jackhammer, a gig, a fight, anything, will be illegal. So, like, let's go deaf in the meantime. After that, then we really will go underground. We'll have to go underground. There will be secret deaf people conferences where we'll all play deaf records with a TH as loud as possible, because we're already deaf with an F, just to see if we can still hear them.
Our audience we want them to experience something extreme. We want them to go out feeling like they've been beaten up.
Deaf.
And, yeah, we'd like them to go out hurting, just go home to recuperate.
Remember it for the next 3 days.
Yeah. There's a lot of discussion about what a nice idea it would be to tear gas people, play at sort of ridiculously low frequencies to make them shit and vomit, and then sort of blind them with sort of incredibly bright flashes, and then let them go home after that.
It wouldn't be very popular.
It's a nice idea, but it'd be very difficult to do, and I think you'd run into trouble with the health and safety people. The first lineup of Sonic Violence was totally different. The bassist had a very unusual sound. He had a low rumble with a lot of treble clang in there and a good snarl in there as well. And he left and moved up north. So I thought the only way I was going to recreate that bass sound was have 2 basses, but we've gone beyond the original bass sound now. I think there's a lot of bands in the thrash sort of sphere and in the death metal sphere. There's a lot of bands that are playing very, very similar music, and none of them seem to be leaving themselves sort of anywhere to develop out of that. But I think we don't really fit into any category, really. People always have a great deal of difficulty in pigeonholing us. So I think, you know, we can take it anywhere we want. The only thing we want to do is never lighten up what we're doing, always try and make it heavier and more intense. You can't pound people into the floor with guitar solos.
Manic depression, sexual hate, magically born,
When I was younger, it was useful for me to be introduced to lots of ideas that maybe I hadn't seen before during this sort of early punk time. That was very beneficial to me. I learnt a lot from sort of bands like Crass, sort of people like that, sort of discussing things with them at times, and made me think a lot, did me a lot of good, and hopefully we'll be able to pass on the same kind of process to people who come and see us. We've had quite a few skinheads come to see us in Germany, but they all belonged to something called Sharp, which is Skinheads Against Racial Prejudice. And they're all alright, they're not your standard sort of Nazi moron skinhead. Life in general is something sort of tedious and a bit wishy-washy, which I think most of sort of existence is. People are just too content to just go and sit down in front of a video, and it's just slow death waiting to die. We should get out and do something with themselves.
I can't explain why it seems to be sort of catching on, but it definitely is, most certainly. There's a, I don't know, perhaps it is just like, perhaps it's punk rearing its ugly head again.
Bolt Thrower, another bunch of Brummies from our Birmingham area, and they were on another label before they actually joined Earache. They put a record out on Vinyl Solution, and that's a London-based record label. That was their first album. And after that, we picked the band up. They've done 2 albums so far, Realm of Chaos and War Master. They're getting really, really popular now, mainly because the imagery they use on the record sleeves is pretty over the top, you know. It's like for the first album we did by them, Realm of Chaos, they used a company called Games Workshop. We're based here in Nottingham, and they do fantasy games, you know, that are role-playing games and stuff like that. And Bolt Thrower actually took their name from one of those games. And so, since we're based in Nottingham and the games company were, we got together to get Bolt Thrower's album artwork linked in with one of their biggest selling games. So we used their artwork, and that helped promote the band a lot, you know. They got a big following because of that, I think.
We're at the National Army Museum. That's a Bofors gun. And we're Bolt Thrower.
Definitely Discharge for me, influential, definitely. I mean, there wasn't a better band in my youth.
It's what we grew up with. I mean, like me and Baz grew up in the same kind of scene. It was like punk hardcore, wasn't it? Where we and then about, was it 86? Venom and Slayer and Metallica came onto the scene, and you know, it's great.
You know, unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah, so you know, it was when I went and saw Slayer at the Marquee. You know. It was absolutely brilliant, like, you know, sort of that was a real sort of influence for me. That's what, you know, that's what I wanted to do, sort of thing. War is something that is around us today.
It exists.
It's quite interesting, especially the Gulf War. The photos from that on the news was absolutely brilliant, and I don't think it ever will finish because.
It's just something that exists. Yeah. We're here. We don't actually put down war. We don't support it. We don't put it down. It's just something that exists. We sing about and we find interesting. Yeah. It's gone on for centuries, and it'll never stop.
They say there's going to be a war to end all wars at a certain time in history. But as soon as that war's gone, people will be back again. There'll be little tribes again, and then it'll just go through a whole process again. I don't think you'll ever stop it.
Never-ending cycle of destruction.
The riffs just seem to come out. You can be playing for hours and hours without coming up with a single idea. Then suddenly, like, you just get 3 ideas come up and there's a complete song all in one go. You know, it's just, it just works like that. It doesn't. We don't actually say we're going to write a song like now. It'll just happen when I'm at home humming in my head or anything.
For the last 2 albums, we've made 9 songs up to go into the studio, and when we're finished making, you know, recording everything, Baz just usually goes away because he's really in a flow of, you know, making up, playing songs. We just make up another song. The last one on what was it, on Realm of Chaos was All That Remains, yeah. And on War Master it was Senator, which was a single.
Games Workshop, they're a fantasy role-playing sort of group company. They have produced artwork, magazines, and role-playing games.
You know, they got in touch with us and said, you know, we want you to base an album around one of our games. So we used, you know, Realm of Chaos, which was the best thing they really had, wasn't it?
Our song's going to be, you know, also kind of applied to a lot of the aspects within the Games Workshop fantasy world of, you know, imagination. But more importantly to us, the lyrics are all about the world around us, you know, society that we live in today, destruction, and future worlds, past worlds.
Where did we record the album? Slaughterhouse in Driffield. Slaughterhouse burnt down about 2 weeks after we used it, so, and it wasn't our fault. Satan was not there. We did not raise Beelzebub to bring the downfall of civilization.
List. Not saving this country, it's not worth bloody saving.
These are hippie kids that have like wised up a bit, got angry, got loud, they got something to say. It's almost unintelligible, so keep coming back until you work it out or read the lyrics.
There's a whole like death metal grindcore scene happening in Sweden, which was, you know, it's probably one of the most exciting scenes in Europe at the moment, and there's tons of bands there who just really, you know, play this style of music really well. And Entombed, I guess, are probably the most well-known out of them, and also one of the first to get a record out.
I am gone, deep to beyond, this night that you've gone.
Carcass have got some like pretty strange lyrics if you read them. I mean, they're really over-the-top kind of splatter lyrics and influenced by gore films and splatter films and that in general. But they take it on a more real-life level, you know, with songs referring to like mass murderers and stuff like that. 2 months ago now we got a visit from the local constabulary here, Nottingham Vice Squad it was, and apparently they were just checking up on whether some of the album sleeves might be considered obscene or not. And obviously, you know, Carcass albums are like pretty notorious for the sleeves. They've got all these autopsy pictures and all that kind of thing on it. And I mean, their records have been out for like 2 years, you know, in all the shops in England and all around the world. And no one's ever said that they were, you know, obscene or anything. I mean, basically, we haven't heard anything yet from the police about it. We haven't been charged or anything, so I guess things have quietened down. But I don't know, it's just another example of how the police or whatever, some authority can like try and clamp down on things they don't agree with, really.
Death has always been covered up. It's a taboo subject no one really wants to talk about. And that was our intention to begin with, to actually open up a lot of, you know, what goes on, the rotting processes, you know, what happens when you're buried. And unfortunately, the world is in such turmoil. Death has become entertainment. The front cover of Symphony of Sickness, in the gatefold anyway, it features, you know, dead bodies. It also features lumps of meat, because although it wasn't the prime purpose, we wanted to show really that animal and human meat is one and the same. So maybe that helps people distract away from the fact that we're not advocating violence or anything like that. We're totally against violence. No one really wants to talk about it because it's linked to religion, there's the afterlife. No one wants to know about the physical processes, such as, you know, rotting. No one really wants to know that their relatives being cut up for an autopsy. But this is fact, and it goes on. It's an everyday thing, and I don't think people should be scared of it. I mean, I think a lot of people are shocked when they see Carcass live or on the street or whatever, because they think that we're going to be some huge monsters, you know, talking about killing people all the time. I think there's a false impression, and they're perhaps a bit disappointed when they actually meet us, find out we're mild-mannered people.
We're certainly not militant vegetarians because we couldn't care less what other people eat. It's just like, this is another thing that adds another dimension to the nature of the lyrics and so on. But really, when it comes down to it, we just want people to interpret it in their own way, because, you know, that's what art and music and all kinds of entertainment are about, you know. The listener is supposed to be a participant and, you know, draw out whatever he or she wants to.
The world is not a pleasant place, and I think people are becoming increasingly aware of this, unfortunately, and certainly Grindcore in particular has a lot to say about where we can go from here, if we can go anywhere. Maybe we can go... The only place we can go is under, who knows?